ABC 10 breaking news.
We come on the air with breaking news right now. Chaos on the Parkway. We have just learned from Philadelphia police that 2 police officers have been shot near the art museum as the fireworks were wrapping up.
Yeah, we're going to work to bring you some live pictures from down there. As you know, we have crews all over that area. There are thousands of people down there at the time. In fact, during the fireworks is when these reports started coming in. We're looking live, in fact, at the art museum. You see the carousel there at Aikens Oval. And where you'd normally see a ton of people back there, a staging area for a lot of law enforcement, for a lot of our crews and people working the stage, it's pretty empty. You see flashing red and blue lights instead. Not much activity, however, there right in front of the art museum steps. We've got some ground video we want to show you here of people running. Here we go. This is the chaos that that Tracy was describing at the start of this. You see the fireworks going off. You can imagine the confusion as people running. You hear the pop of the fireworks. Some people standing still, perhaps.
Well, right, because if you don't know what
gunshots.
And you don't know what those people reportedly told an officer, we were told to run. There's no joking right there. Those people are running. But if you haven't been, you're watching the fireworks, and again, very, very loud. We can hear it from where we are, the concert and the fireworks. So it would have been hard to hear, I believe.
We're looking at this screen with you and trying to glean exactly what might be going on there, in addition to receiving texts and calls from our sources in law enforcement. And we're doing our best here to confirm with police before we bring you those details live on TV. And again, we're live on television right now because there's been a report by police of 2 officers who've been shot. We see some of the resultant chaos in a video we're about to show you. Again, this video coming in as we speak.
And we're seeing it right with you.
Here it is.
And you can see those people, yeah.
Let it breathe a little bit because you can hear the confusion and the chaos running through the grass there. In fact, you even see in the back there a Philadelphia police officer on a bike directing people.
And we know what happens in these situations, right? But yeah, you're right. You saw the police officer on the right-hand side. It looked like he was trying to say, come on, come on, come on, let's go. And then you know what happens in situations like this, especially when there's a crowd. It starts. You hope that no one gets hurt in the rush to get away from the danger. We're starting to get reports, and we're going to wait till we get it all confirmed, that they believe, and it would make sense based on these pictures, that the shooter is still in this immediate area, in the art museum area at the sort of top of the Ben Franklin Parkway. And now let's listen to an interview that we got on the scene.
Where were you when, what happened?
Well, I was up there 10 minutes ago, and there was the first shot, and everybody started running.
You heard the shot?
I didn't hear the shot, no, but the cops were like, run, run, run. And then it just happened again. They're like, don't run that way, so I don't know where to run. There's nowhere to run. I said, Jello, I'm so sorry.
Was that when the fireworks, had the fireworks already started?
No, it was before the fireworks. Oh my God, they're running again.
So there you go. So that's somebody that's on the ground right there. It looks like they're outside the fencing, and you see some of the lights there set up right in the middle of Aikens Oval to get your bearings right. Very close to the art museum, certainly within walking distance, or in this case, a lot of people running. You hear the confusion. In fact, you see it too. Some of the Philadelphia police officers there heading down to where what we think is the staging area, in fact, in front of those steps. Right there, you see those 2 women there being guided away.
Now we have Tim Furlong, who has been there all afternoon. Tim, tell us where you are. Tim, can you hear us? Go ahead.
I'm not going to do that, actually. I'm not going to tell you specifically where we are.
Okay.
I can hear you. We're not going to tell you specifically where we are, but we have made sure that we have a total head count for our NBC employees, which we have a lot of NBC employees down here, on-air, off-air, production companies, things like that we're working with to produce the event. So everybody is safe as far as we know. That's a good thing. We hear stories about Karen Wah and Sheila Wacko. That's obviously concerning to us, but we're hunkered down doing our best. I went out there to the fireworks because I was out there with a camera covering the fireworks, and as I started walking toward the Ferris wheel at Aikens Oval, that's when a wave of people were running toward me. And even officers on the scene, some of whom didn't have radios, were like, I don't know what's happening here. I saw kids crying and things like that. And they're all running toward me, and some didn't know what happened, and they were just told to get the hell out of there, is what one family told me. They said they were just told to run by a couple police officers that were on the scene right there. And so they took off running, and as I was then starting to proceed to come back toward the stage area, I started seeing a wave of police officers running sort of toward me to go back to the art museum. Again, a lot of confusion out there, not helped, of course, by the fact there's fireworks going off that sound like gunshots. And so there's music and fireworks and people screaming and crying. It was a surreal kind of situation. We had police officers come to our location, and they said basically that they wanted to make sure we were all safe, but also that they were missing a 6-year-old girl. And they asked if she might be with us and things like that. And of course, she's not. So police are looking for this child. We're also sort of we've been told we're in sort of a lockdown, stay in place kind of order right now while they search some buildings in our immediate area. I heard you guys talking to me, and there's a lot of apartment buildings around here. If you wanted to run away from the parkway and hide, you can absolutely do that. And again, on the parkway itself, they did their best to seal off and kind of restrict access to who could come in. They had the magnetometers that we've reported on this week, but you can't stop everything because it's a porous fence line. They're not huge concrete walls or anything like that. And so it's been a little bit tricky.
And what we're looking at is a pretty recognizable place. If you drive around the city of Philadelphia at night, you see those the lights there aglow. At the top, it's red, blue. That's where police activity seems to be centered at the moment, Trace.
NBC 10's Rosemary Connors has been down there all afternoon. She was up on stage. Now she's on the phone with new information that she's getting from all of her sources. Rosemary, what do you know?
Tracy and Keith, I'm in a secure location as well, along with some of our other colleagues. I'm in a different location, but in a secure location. Here's some new information, and then I'll tell you about my experience. So, new information I have is that it looks like this originated close to 25th and Spring Garden, happened around 9:47. What I'm hearing is that one of the police officers sustained a graze wound to the head. The second police officer, who may have been assigned to a local bomb squad, presumably here for precaution, sustained a gunshot wound to the right shoulder, both taken to Jefferson in stable condition. That's what we have right now. That's what I'm getting from my sources at this moment. This is obviously an incredibly fluid situation.
Back to what we saw. This stampede happened while we were in the middle of interviewing a few kids. Thousands of people rushed towards the front of the stage. I myself had to take cover underneath the stage with 3 other people I had to help pull onto that stage so that we could duck down on the ground behind a DJ podium where there was some man named Mike who was talking to the director of the show and telling us to stay there and when it was okay to rush back to our vehicle. My photographer, Brad, stayed, watched his shoulder, but got all of this video you're seeing right now, watching all of this mayhem break out, not 1, not 2, but 3 times. Here's what happened when we were able to run just a block down Benjamin Parkland Frankway. Officers said that there was an active shooter coming from a completely different direction from where this festival was. They started running towards that way, told everybody to get out the way, take cover behind all of these food trucks. I'm not sure if I'm on camera or not right now, but all of the food trucks that are lined up on this street. They told anybody who was around to duck down, get inside the food trucks, get behind the tires, do something to block themselves from bullets. These are the food trucks I'm talking about that are lined up all here on the street.
We're just learning that police have set up at 18th and Vine to reunite parents and children. We did hear that 6-year-old had been reunited. We had heard that a 6-year-old had gotten away from his or her parents, needed to be reunited. You can imagine in the chaos, and everyone is still in a lockdown, shelter in place, whether you are under a stage, in a food tent, by a truck. In fact, Andrea Berry, our executive producer, who is in the area, let's see, she just let us know that she was told to sort of, hide behind a vehicle because, again, the shooter could be in the West Tower. We know that the police have set up a perimeter around the West Tower. We know that there is a SWAT unit inside the West Tower. We know that people are told to, Christine was just saying, stay where they are. They can't leave. We also know people who live along the parkway can't get where they're going. They can't get home because police have locked down the whole thing. We have new video that we want to show you right now. Again, this is coming into our newsroom as we speak, and we like to show it to you. It looks like a number of Philadelphia police officers. You see people heading the opposite direction there. This looks like it was taken from one of the towers of the Parktown Center. Again, this is where police are situated currently. Again, another shot
this time on the ground of people running. A lot of confusion out there. If you can hear faintly in the background, you hear popping noises. The fireworks were going off during all of this. So a lot of confusion out there. The music had quit just minutes before that. And you see people just taking off, as you said, Tracy, and as Leah had said, first in one direction, then in another direction as police, gain some perspective on where things were. We've got NBC 10's Karen Hua on the phone with us right now. Karen, you'd emailed. You said you're with Sheila Watko. Explain to us what happened when you guys got word that there was an active shooter.
It just feels absolutely surreal. The concert had just wrapped. We were having a great time. We were literally on our way out, and then we just hear from security, get in this tent. We think it's like a joke or for someone else at first, and they say, get in this expletive tent. And so we're like, okay. And then they say, get down, get down. We just see everyone in the tent, like laying face down in the dirt. And so we just kind of followed suit. And, you know, I think it was a catering tent. And we made a terrible fort around ourselves. I remember just with the coolers and the catering equipment that was in there, and we just laid in the dirt on the ground, and it felt like an absolute eternity. And then a woman comes in screaming that she believes 2 people have been shot. At that point, we don't know if that's confirmed or not, but she's just screaming. And I think it was me and Sheila Watko and 2 of our other friends. And I think we just decided in that moment, we're like, are we going to stay? Are we going to shelter in place in this flimsy tent with no doors, or are we going to sprint? And we held hands and we just sprinted, and it felt like an absolute eternity. It just felt like we were running for miles and miles and miles, and it was probably just blocks. And our plan was just to find the nearest apartment. We did not make it that far. Someone just kept on screaming, get down. So we just ducked into the closest door we found nearby. We are sheltering in place in a building right now that, you know, has walls. It's not a tent. We're staying here until, you know, we're given the all clear until we're good to go. But there are a lot of people in here. There are other girls and other people who went to the concert, people who just streamed into the door here screaming or crying or calling their loved ones, like saying, like, I love you, Mom, I love you, Dad. So we are currently sitting on the ground in the back of a building.
Jim and Jackie have been on the Parkway all afternoon, all evening. We now have them with us. We know that you're all safe. We're glad to hear that you're safe.
We're glad to be able to come to you back live after we hit the deck, basically, on our platform where we were watching the fireworks with everybody at home. And then we got word of a possible active shooter. And so we just hit the floor.
Of course, this is the stage behind us where the concert took place, and we were just in front of this stage on the platform broadcasting that entire concert, and we got word that there was an active shooter here on the Parkway on the grounds. That's all we knew at the moment, and we got down and took cover, not knowing what the circumstances were surrounding it.
We did see officers running by our platform, telling people to run, to get to safety, to run in the direction of City Hall, down the Parkway. We didn't move because we didn't feel it was safe to move at that point, so we stayed in place and stayed put until one of our producers came and got us to a safe location.
John McNesby just came out of the hospital. He spoke with both officers. He said it's amazing these guys are alive, and he did say one is a shoulder injury, and he said the other one was a graze wound technically, but the bullet actually lodged in the hat. And I know you guys are working turning around. Yeah, John gave us this picture, if we can see that. I mean, literally, it's a bullet wedged into the hat. Exactly. That's our reaction as we're standing here watching this too. As you guys mentioned, I think you said Josh Shapiro is here. The mayor is going to come out and speak with us, we understand, as is the police commissioner, Danielle Outlaw. So we're waiting on that to happen at this point. But John McNesby walked out of here a very relieved man, frankly. I mean, you know, you could see it on his face. This could have been a lot worse. And he said, sorry to the people of Philadelphia that this beautiful event, this awesome community event that we had, is marred by gun violence once again in the city of Philadelphia. That's what we're talking about, is gun violence, and not something super positive. Here, the helicopter's going overhead right now. It's getting pretty loud over here. But yeah, so we're going to have more information. Again, as I said, we're expecting the commissioner, possibly the mayor, to come out here in a short while too. So we'll come back to me when we have that for you. Maybe we can take that live. We'll work on that. Our producers are going to keep an eye on our feed to make sure we get that to you.
We have new video in. We're hearing from our producer. Let's take a look at that. We're continuing to get new video in.
Oh, wow. Look at this. Oh, my goodness. Look at all the kids.
Oh, that's where Tim was. He was talking about how he was walking toward.
Oh, my
You see the Ferris wheel up in the right-hand corner? He was walking toward the fireworks. It happened at 9:45, so it happened about 2 hours ago.
You see the person just left their shoe behind.
Yes.
You see it right there on the ground, a sandal.
We're trying to turn that picture around for you that Tim Furlong showed you on the phone, on his phone when we went to him at the hospital, showing the bullet lodged in the officer's cap. And now we're also learning that in that cap was a memorial card from a Philadelphia police chaplain who passed in May. And now we have video of the hat.
Yeah, what do we have video here of? Here we go.
There we go.
So that's the picture right there. Below it, and you can see the card there. And here's the reason why we're not showing it to you. For one, we want to be able to confirm exactly who is on it. And then number two, there's some blood at the top of the photo. And because we're on television, we want to make sure that we're careful with what we show you, especially considering people might be watching this with kids, because there are a lot of kids out there on the Parkway that might be curious as to what happened. Miraculous is how they're describing this situation tonight, right? The chaos unfolded. Tens of thousands of people ran from the Parkway, seemingly for their lives. A gunman potentially still out there at the moment. Thank you so much for watching us in the special edition of NBC 10 News at midnight. I'm Keith Jones.
And I'm Tracy Davidson. We are going off the air, but our team continues to work for you. You'll see updates on our NBC 10 website and on our free NBC 10 app. Good night.
NBC 10 News starts now.
Panic on the Parkway.
Take cover! Take cover!
Chaos as hundreds of people, including children, run for cover.
All of a sudden, all hell broke loose.
2 officers shot.
We're not going to rest until we get someone in custody for this.
One of Philadelphia's most beloved traditions goes horribly wrong.
Oh my God, they're running again.
A city now in shock.
I'll be happy when I'm not here, when I'm not mayor, and I can enjoy some stuff.
I don't think we have any intention of ever coming back to Philly, honestly.
Thanks for being with us this afternoon. I'm Tracy Davidson.
I'm Jacqueline London. Philadelphia's biggest July 4th party upended by the city's epidemic of gun violence. The Fraternal Order of Police is now offering a $20,000 reward for information that leads to an arrest of whoever is responsible for last night's shooting. It all happened as thousands of people packed the Ben Franklin Parkway just after a live concert wrapped up and the July 4th fireworks show is about to begin. You can see here on this map the stage highlighted in yellow. The shooting happened at the end of the Parkway, just in front of the Philadelphia Museum of Art. We have a team of reporters covering all angles of this story, from the security and response to the shooting to the people who were there and witnessed what happened. But we begin with the very latest on the investigation. NBC 10's Rosemary Connors begins our team coverage live from the Ben Franklin Parkway. Rosemary, today tourists are back on the Parkway, some completely unaware of anything that happened.
Jacqueline, it's the beginning of a holiday week, and so a lot of out-of-town, out-of-state, out-of-country visitors who are stopping by the Rocky statue in the Philadelphia Museum of Art. They just got into town this morning. They have no idea that less than 24 hours ago, over by those blue bike racks, 2 officers were shot and wounded. Fortunately, they are at home recovering. For everybody who was here, we all know what that aftermath looked like. It seemingly started out of nowhere. They didn't hear anything, but everybody saw the crowd rushing away.
Officers didn't hear any shots or any rounds being fired.
Our NBC 10 camera, poised to film the fireworks above the Art Museum, captured the calm immediately before the storm around 9:47. The fireworks hadn't started just yet, and there was no obvious sound of gunfire. But once police realized 2 officers were struck at the south side of the museum steps, they sounded the alarm and alerted people in the crowd.
We are asking anyone with information about the shooting, or if they have video or any tips or information that they think is too small or too great to give us a call.
Authorities identify the officers shot and wounded as Montgomery County Bomb Squad and Sheriff's Office Deputy John Foster. A bullet hit him in the right shoulder. 36-year-old Sergio Diggs, a 13-year veteran of the Philadelphia Police Department in the Highway Patrol Unit, suffered a graze wound to the forehead. This picture shows how the bullet became lodged in his cap.
Well, it is miraculous. Again, the fact that the round stopped in his head. It initially, I think, went up the inside, hit his forehead, and then the round stopped in his head.
Witnesses like well-known Philadelphia photographer and blogger Huey Dillon describe what happened next.
The police came out of the blue and they just sort of locked arms and they were like telling all of us to evacuate the parkway immediately.
Take cover! Take cover!
We weren't moving fast enough for them, and then they said, active shooter, run, 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 don't look back.
Visitors from out of state like the Shropshire family were stunned.
Well, we were all running. I had 2 little daughters and a wife, so picked them up and we had to run back, towards our hotel to Logan. Yeah, we all just, got on foot and got back to the Logan safely.
Scoop them up and run.
Yeah.
This afternoon, Mayor Jim Kenney spoke exclusively to NBC 10, responding to his controversial words late last night after the shooting. In part, he said he's constantly worried about something bad happening during big events in the city.
I'm waiting for something bad to happen all the time. So I'll be happy when I'm not here, when I'm not mayor, and I can enjoy some stuff.
So you're looking forward to not being mayor?
Yeah, that's a matter of fact.
Those comments were trending on social media, and some elected officials in Philadelphia have called on the mayor to resign. NBC 10's Lauren Make joins us live with our exclusive conversation with the mayor, what he had to say about his future, and what prompted those comments last night. Lauren, they certainly caused a stir in a lot of circles.
Yeah, Tracy, they certainly did. And there are 2 things to remember here as we talk about this. First of all, Philadelphia has been dealing with a gun violence problem, and Mayor Kenney has shown some frustration in the past as he has gotten questions about it. And second of all, there is an election coming up. Philadelphia will be choosing a new mayor next year, so there are some political considerations here. As far as Mayor Kenney's term, he says he's not going anywhere.
Hours after a shooting disrupted the city's holiday celebration, the comments from the mayor prompting a political storm.
You're looking forward to not being mayor?
Yeah, that's a matter of fact.
I think the mayor's comments were asinine.
Councilmember Sherelle Parker, the Democratic Majority Leader on council, says she took her concerns directly to the mayor.
I picked up the telephone and I called him, and I told him that if you can feel this way, imagine how Philadelphians who don't have the ability to check out feel on a daily basis.
The mayor explaining his words today in an interview with NBC 10.
I just think that was a human emotion, a human expression. Would I say it again there? No. I'm proud to be mayor of the city. I'm happy I was reelected. We've been through the pandemic. We've been through George Floyd's murder. We've been through the civil unrest. We've been through Donald Trump. We've been through everything we've been through. And as a person, sometimes it gets frustrating, and you emote.
The overnight comments in the wake of the shooting and amid a persistent gun violence problem in the city, prompting some calls for Kenney's resignation, something the mayor says is not on the table. Why do you think he should resign?
Anyone who doesn't love their job and wants to be the mayor of this city and has taken an oath of office to serve and protect the city cannot throw in the towel like he did last night.
Councilmember Alan Dom is considered a potential candidate for mayor when Kenney's term is up. Do you want that job?
I've had a lot of people ask me to consider running for the position. I am exploring that opportunity, and only under one reason would I consider it, and that is because I love Philadelphia, and I am heartbroken over what's going on.
The mayor today, though, getting some understanding from a Republican who has been a critic of the mayor, Councilmember David O.
It is not easy to be mayor. It is a very hard job, especially now. I do believe that what he was trying to say is to let the public know that he's affected very deeply and personally by, the problems in our city.
Now, there are some calls for the mayor's resignation coming from outside of the city. Republican Senate candidate Mehmet Oz is calling for Mayor Kenney to resign, as well as gun violence prevention group Ceasefire PA. Again, the mayor has said he is not going anywhere, and his term is over in early 2024. Live in Center City, I'm Lauren Make, NBC 10 News.